RCU has been researching student destinations for more than 20 years. For example, we recently completed with our partners Ipsos Mori the biggest ever survey of learners in the UK, over 250,000 respondents asking them about student destinations. So the 10 top tips that we've put together here really work. Here's how it goes. You don't want to waste valuable money interviewing students if somebody in your organisation already knows what they're doing. So the first step is to make it easy and simple for your colleagues to report any destinations that they know to a central point. The biggest barrier to effective destinations monitoring is actually poor quality contact data. So make sure you've got good systems in place to check the accuracy of the data before students leave. That also ensures you're complying with the Data Protection Act, which requires all your records to be up to date and current. Most students are quite happy to provide information on their destinations, they just don't know we're interested. So before they go, brief them thoroughly on how they can get in touch with you and why the data is valuable to you. You'll need to decide in advance your quality standards for the data. For example, will you only accept responses that come directly from the learner, or is it okay to have information from a third party, say close family members or friends? A lot of this will depend on what you're actually using the data for. You may need different rules if you're using it to make a funding claim compared to if you're using it for your own internal management information purposes. Direct telephone interviews with students are the best way to get information, but they're also the most expensive. So consider some other alternatives. If you're a college with students passing on to university, you probably already use UCAS data. But what other sources could you use? Do you get reference requests coming in from employers? And if so, do you follow those up to see whether the job is actually offered? What about the information that comes through post-course results counselling? Could you use that? What about social media sites? What about gathering information at awards events? All of these are valuable ways to get that last few sets of data that otherwise might be missed. If you are using UCAS information, you have to be clear that you understand the status and nature of it. UCAS doesn't guarantee that learners have actually gone on to the destination that's fed back to you. All they do is to confirm that that was the last offer that the learner held and that they got the exam results necessary to take up that place. That may be good enough for some uses, but not if you're, say, using it as a basis of funding claims. You also need to be clear that UCAS can only do this because the students themselves give permission for the information to be passed on. If you're using that to, say, publish information on where learners have gone, then you may be breaking that confidence. If you're in a part of the country where a lot of students move between institutions, you might want to set up a sharing agreement. That way, each institution records where a learner has come from and feeds that information back. Of course, if you're doing that, you've got to get the permission of the student first. Okay, let's assume you've tried all the other methods and you've still got students you need to contact. Using an evening telephone survey is by far the most effective way of getting through, but you will still miss some people. Professional research centres use automated techniques which vary the day of the week and the time of day that they call. Think about how many of your students have got mobiles. Will they be willing to answer questions? And you'll certainly have to keep it short if they do. Are you considering including any students who've got learning difficulties or disabilities? Again, think through the issues of this. And certainly train all your staff in making out this type of call. For example, what if a student has died or become seriously injured? What's the message they should give to the person who answers the phone to avoid offence? Also think about callbacks. If your students miss the call and call back to the main switchboard, will the people who answer the phone know what the issues are and why they were being telephoned? You may want to consider a postal survey as one of the ways you get through to students. But be realistic. Response rates to postal surveys are not good, even with a prize draw. Yet it may help you get through to the last few students that you've not found any other way. Think of an incentive that will actually help increase response rates, and publicise that widely. Particularly, publicise it before the students leave. A good destination survey will give you a wealth of information that can be used for all sorts of sources, internal management purposes, information advice and guidance, and to make funding claims. So make sure you use the information widely and also analyse it effectively. Break it down by different groups, look for patterns. If you publicise the results of your destination survey well internally, then both your staff and future students will realise the importance of it, and that in turn will help get you better results in future surveys. In this video I've tried to give you 10 tips that will help you to research student destinations yourself, but as you'll have gathered, it's not easy. If you do want to seek professional advice, then please do call me. I'll be happy to advise you and be happy to explain to you how RCU could help you.